So I just got in from my first day of training, on the job training, and this is basically it for the costume. This hat, it has like a little button, and it just snaps down. Keep it intact. Okay. If you have a lot of hair, or if you have braids, you have to wear this hairnet, but you can barely tell I have it on. If you have braids or even just long hair, you have to somehow pull it back so that way it won't be in the way of your face or covering your ears too much. So everything has to be pulled back. Ouch. So basically, I work at the artist pilot at the Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa. Get a long sleeve button up shirt, a green apron that says the artist pilot, then khaki pants, and then a pair of black shoes. If you're on quick service, you get your shoes for free. That's the only role that gets its shoes for free. Just pretty much because you're always standing on your feet and constantly moving around. Even though other roles move around a lot too, but it's like quick service. It's like you're constantly standing, and you don't really get as many times to sit down as maybe some other roles do. So, you wear your name tag, of course, and this says earning my ears because you'll have training typically for a week depending on your role, but from what I hear, most people just have a week. So I started my official day of training on the job today, and I'll be done Thursday. So while you're doing training, you have to wear this red thing that says earning my ears. This way all other cast members and people that you're working with can know that you're still being trained and you still don't know a lot of the ropes yet. So for the first day of training, it was 8 hours from 7 in the morning till 3:30 this afternoon, but I actually had to get there at 6 o'clock because the bus that gets to my location wouldn't get there until exactly 7 o'clock on the dot. And if you get there at exactly 7 or even a minute after 7, for one, as a CP, you can get a point against you, and you're only allowed up to 3 points before you can get termed. As well as it just doesn't look good to be late, especially if you're just starting out. So I got there an hour early by taking the bus van transportation. So I wound up getting there at exactly 6 o'clock, but better early than late. So for the first day of training, pretty much learn as to where do you clock in and where you clock out at. Sign some paperwork after you finish at the end of the day, saying if you understand the role and the concept as to what the mission is of the company, and if you know as to how to use proper chemicals, temperature settings for certain foods, and when it comes to stocking and shelving. So pretty much just learning all the ropes of working at your role. So first got there, clocked in, saw as to where you also have to write your name for when you clock in, and mark off the times that you'll be working from what time to the end as to where you'll be working, and then see as to what times you'll have your break. If you're working an 8-hour shift, you typically get two 30-minute breaks, and if you're working a little less than 8 hours, then you only really have maybe a 15-minute break. So if you're working 8.5 hours, you get 2 breaks. One more in the earlier half, maybe around 10:30ish, I think, or 9:40. We had took the first break, and then the second break was towards the afternoon, around 1:30, 2 o'clock. So what did I do first? Okay, so first, after we clocked in and saw where some of the safety things were at, we went out to the front. Well, no, first we got a complete tour as to where all the stock rooms were at to be able to reload and restock some of the items that are out in the front for the guests. And the best thing about the artist pilot is that it's at one of the only resorts that actually has both merchandise as well as quick service all combined in one. Most quick service, you're either outside pushing around a food cart, or you're inside, but you're also handling cash money as well. But at the Saratoga, that's the only resort within Disney that has both merchandise and quick service all combined. So guests will come up to the quick service side to order. You take their order, and that's where they'll grab their food from after 1 o'clock. But before 1 o'clock, we have what we call runners that take the the order basically and run it to the person's table, because people will get these numbers so that way you can know which table to drop the food off to. But you take the person's order, they walk to the other side of the line and pretty much just pay over there at the merchandise with whatever other items they may pick up along the way. So we did some training with that as to how to use the machine to be able to ring up guest orders, as well as preparing the trays for the guest orders and making sure that everything is correct with that, because a lot of people have certain allergies or can only eat foods that are gluten-free, so you have to be very mindful of that and ask certain guests if they do have an allergy. This way you're not making someone sick by serving them certain foods that they're not really supposed to have because of the ingredients. And with that, anytime it was a problem, we just quickly got the chef. The chef would come out, talk to the guests, and the guests would then let us know whether or not they wanted the meal. We would just proceed from there. We learned a little bit more about the meal plans. For most of the meal plans, I believe, for every adult meal, you get a 20-ounce bottle of juice or soda. The kids get like the little small drinks or the little juice boxes, and then the adults also get one snack along with their meal. What else was there? Oh, so back to the table running thing. If you're not ringing up people's orders or making the trays for the food, then you'll just be running the food over to the person's table. So if table number 27, for example, had got a flatbread pizza and a hot dog chili, one of the runners would take the receipt and it tells you the table number, and you'll take and just run it over to wherever you see table number 27 at. Give the guests their meal and get their receipt, and just continue to keep doing that over and over until all the meals are out to the correct tables. But that stops after 1 o'clock. After 1 o'clock, there's no more running tables. People just then have to come up after they have the little buzzy thing that turns colors and pick up their own food themselves. There's some stocking of the freezer section in terms of stocking like juices, waters. The resort that I'm working at also sells wine and alcoholic beverages, so just stocking some of those, some fresh fruits, cups, and pretty much some of the groceries. But typically, since it's connected with merchandise typically stocks that half of the freezer, because that's more so their half. But I mean, we all help each other out. It's all about being a team. It's not just an I thing, or that's not my role. We all do it together as a team. What were some other things? Oh, seeing as to how to clean the tables with the correct spray and hand gloves, and the right wiping utensils that you use to wipe down the tables and pushing in chairs, sweeping up the floor if need be, if it's a lot of trash. Just learning how to where to go to dump the trash bags when it gets too full. Restocking, because for breakfast at the condiment section you'll have out your jellies and your syrup. Well, syrups you actually get from the quick serve side, but you'll have out like your jellies and I guess like little salt and pepper packets if people may want that. But then when it changed from breakfast to lunch, then you'll put out your barbecue sauces, your ketchups, and other things like that people normally use for like the lunch menu. I didn't get to see the dinner menu today. I'll see the dinner menu tomorrow, because today I just worked during the breakfast and lunch rush. But tomorrow I'll be working more so during the late lunch going into the dinner rush. I think that might have been pretty much it for today. Just learning that, seeing as to where they clean most of the food, prep most of the food in the kitchen area, and as to where they clean the dishes. And then the other thing about the artist pilot is that the Turf Bar and Grill is also connected right next door to it. So we basically share the same kitchen in a sense. And so it was like back and forth with cast members from the artist pilot, as well as from members of the Turf Club and Bar. So, I mean, it can get pretty hectic, but everybody, like I said, works as a team when we get the job done. Talking to guests is nice. Of course, you're going to have some guests that get impatient because it's a long line and they just want to quickly order, maybe just a sandwich. And you got people in front of them that want longer orders because they got a bigger party with them. So you got some guests that get a little impatient, but that's going to happen. There's nothing we can really do about it, because if you have a guest who's in line who starts off their order and then really don't know what else that they might want, it's like you kind of just have to wait until they tell you what it is that they still want along with that order. But for the most part, it's really good. The only thing that I have to get used to is standing up for 8 hours completely. Of course, on your breaks, you can sit down, take a little nap if you want to, but make sure you set your alarm. But for the most part, standing up for all those hours is something that I have to get used to, because I never worked in fast food before. So this is a whole new experience. I did a little bit of catering before, for like different church banquets and things like that, but it was never anything where I had to do it like every single day. Now, since I'm doing this college program, it's going to be something I got to do for the next 4.5 months and just have to get used to. But yeah, other than that, for the first day, really wasn't bad. Really, I mean, it was a lot of information to take in, but the more I kept doing it, the more it just became like the normal thing. Everyone was really nice. If you forgot anything or needed any help with anything, everybody's willing to help you. So it's not like, oh, that's the new girl or the new CP, we don't want to help them, let them figure it out on their own. No, nobody's like that. Everybody realizes that it's a team effort, and everybody wants to get out there and make sure they do a great job, because nobody wants to get in trouble. But I think that was pretty much it. So stay tuned for some more videos. Tomorrow, like I said, I have training all this week up until Thursday, and then thank God I have Friday and Saturday off to relax. But tomorrow will be some more training, maybe a little more in a little bit more stream than what it was today, and a lot more fast paced probably, since it'll be towards the dinner rush. But just stay tuned for more videos, and thumbs up this one, and please subscribe if you already haven't. Bye guys.